The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3, and let's welcome back to the show from the Kapiti Chamber of Commerce and Thorn PR. It's Jacinda Thorn. G'day, Jacinda.
How are you?
How you been the last 3 weeks since we last talked?
It's been really, it's been a bit of a change. Things are a little bit more settled now, which is fantastic. And obviously moving into level 1, we've got that freedom back. So there's there's a sense of optimism in the air. I was out and about yesterday and people were really happy and excited to be back with each other. So I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really positive. A long road ahead. But at the moment, I think we should just enjoy, the achievement we've got to get to level 1, everything we've had to do to get here, because it's been a long, I think it was 75 days from that first alert level 2 through to back to level 1. So well done, everyone. We're feeling good.
Yeah. We, 75 days since 4 to 1. Because last time we talked, it was a level, the second day of level 2, and now it's the second day of level 1. So, did you get to enjoy those Friday drinks with the girls that time?
I did, and I must admit that we did pay for it for quite a while, probably about a week afterwards, because I was not used to going out. But it was actually seeing your friends and hugging them was one of the first things I wanted to do. And it was such a cool moment. And we were like, imagine if it was like this all the time. Whenever we see each other, you greet people with the same joy and love that you do when you see them for the first time again. It was really cool.
Yes, no, I definitely got some massive hugs there over the last couple of weeks, and I hope they continue. It's not as if we haven't seen each other over the last decade or something, but so we've talked about a few things with your roles in PR and the chamber. Let's talk PR for a second. How have your clients been adapting and their confidence out there with level 1 going forward?
It has been really interesting because I think we've talked before, most of our guys are in food production, and so during the lockdown they were not only continuing to supply supermarkets, sales actually went through the roof. And then of course as we've come back down through the levels and people have got more ability to spend money at cafes and restaurants, those kind of sales have dropped back to normal levels again. So for us it's been a little bit like just pretty busy and reactionary, and now we can get back more into that proactive space. And look, our clients are still exported over the lockdown. Others have been winning awards in New York. Others have been growing their sales footprint, and others have moved online more. It's been a really rewarding experience to be working alongside them through this, because obviously it all happened so quickly, and we didn't really have time to prepare. But I think the one thing that stood out is when we start working with a client, you've got to have that trust in the relationship, and all of our clients are just really good people. At the end of the day, they do what they love, and they've created a business from it. And so it's just been a real privilege to work with companies who not only look after their people and their staff and their suppliers, but really care about the communities around them. And it's almost made me feel more grateful to be in business for myself than I've ever felt, because, it's a pretty unique path we've had to walk, and we've all got some great learnings out of it. One of the things I really valued as we began working with the Wellington Chocolate Factory, literally just on lockdown, and it's a pretty strange experience anyway, but also having to work alongside these guys to get their online store pumping, and we've also launched a competition with them, Chocolate Dreams, where kids can design their own flavour of chocolate, and if it's a winning flavour, it's going to be released just before Christmas. And so we got some amazing results. They had record beyond expectation months online. They were on 7 Sharp. Their sales and awareness has just, if I could draw you a graph with my hand, it's just gone, straight up.
Amazing.
So it's been great for us. And our team's expanded. We've got, 3 of us working in the business pretty much full time. And so it's just been a really rewarding experience all round.
Brilliant, brilliant. That award in New York, that wasn't an olive oil award, was it?
That was Olive Oil Story, that's right. There were 7 gold medals that Olives New Zealand brought home, including our wonderful growers on the Kapiti Coast,
Yes.
Kapiti Olive. Yeah.
He was our guest the next day.
What was that?
He was our guest the next day.
Oh, brilliant, yes. So there was growers from Waiheke right down to Canterbury who picked up gold medals, and it was their best ever year.
Amazing. So we're still dominating the world in many aspects, but you were still focusing local. I need to ask, are we seeing people wanting to focus on local, or are they doing it because they have to, or are we seeing it because they want to?
That's a really interesting question, and one that we've been pondering. And I feel like there is a genuine want to focus on local, and I think the thing is globally, people are looking more inward, and obviously because borders are closed, but also understanding that without the global trade and the ability to buy and travel overseas, that we really do need to support local, and without local tourists, obviously people can move around now, so hopefully we'll see more visitors and buying and supporting local. Not only does it have a feel-good factor, it's good for our economy, and I think people are understanding beyond the feel-good factor that if you don't support local, then we will see businesses hurt and potentially close.
One of those real topics that you brought up in the first and second interview is that some aren't going to survive this. Have you seen any fold because of COVID-19, or are people still hanging in there?
I think it's going to be the next month or two that we start to see the real effects, because when we went to level 3, there would have been a spending blip because obviously takeaway and food service restaurants and all that were open again. We went to level 2 and there was a bit more freedom. We've gone to level 1. I think we'll see another spending blip. But if you look at the number of redundancies that have started to come through over the last 2 days in particular, that's just the start. And I think it'll probably be July, August, the spending will slow down and we'll start to see some of those real impacts of the lockdown and beyond. Locally, we've got lots of businesses who applied for the wage subsidy through the government, and we just surveyed our members, and currently around 18% are needing to apply for further assistance, which opens again today. So that gives them another 8-week cushion. But, it comes to the point now that if things are tight, you probably need to start having a really very real conversation with your accountant and the bank. How much do I want to dig in? How much do I, want to work hard to keep the business, or, do we sort of go, okay, we can't do it and walk away? So it's getting to that crunch time now for those real conversations about the future.
Yeah, they're ugly, but we've got to have them. Hey, lastly, we've changed again. So with that comes new adapting, new thinking. Where to from here? Where do we go from here? Early days of level 1.
Do you know what? We are advocating hard, the Chamber, for flexible working to become the norm and not the exception. In late May, .love's data, which is a data company in Wellington, released figures around spending in the region. And all the regions outside of the CBD saw increases because people were working at home more. So in Kapiti, we had a 15% increase, which is phenomenal. And obviously, we've got thousands of people who would normally leave Kapiti every single day to go to Wellington. And so what we're urging is decision makers, government departments, businesses, where practical, to consider flexible working a permanent policy. Because if we can have more people potentially working out here, even if it's a few days a week, and then they spend out here, they get their coffee, their lunch, they go shopping, it's going to cushion our economy against some of those blows that are going to come. And, like you look at the roads and traffic and, the pressure on the rail system, if we can reduce that pressure and have people working at home, that would be fantastic. And the other thing is people are still creating, producing and connecting at home. It's no different. And, anecdotally, I've heard so many people say they're just as productive, if not happier, with the ability to be at home and still be with their families and do their work. So this is our focus, for the next wee while, as well as supporting our local businesses with the nuts and bolts of getting through, is getting some of those big decision makers to go, okay, let's implement something along the lines of a flexible work policy and, see how it goes. AMP in Auckland yesterday, they've actually closed their lease on their CBD premises in Auckland City and have moved, and Wellington are moving their people into their homes with, suburban regional centres if they need to connect. And, we've still got to balance it because you've still got to think about the CBD and the foot traffic and all those sorts of things. But it's kind of that forward thinking that we really want businesses to approach now, but getting into level 1 and beyond.
Okay, that was supposed to be the last, but now you've made me think. You've made me think. Now, okay, working at home, yes, it's been awesome. It's been more productive. My dogs have loved it. But could we see more, maybe like the good old days, the more satellite offices, the more rural, the more regional? I know the city centres where it's at, the big buildings, all that stuff. But what if we do take away that travel? What if we do have a big meeting room then and a shared office space out in Kapiti for the big banks or the insurances or whatever? Maybe that's a route to go. And yet you can still get away from home, but you're still in their offices or somebody's and away from the kids or somewhere private that you can continue.
Do you know, we've started to have this conversation. There's a group of business leaders that are being convened to help guide the recovery and implementation of the economic development strategy. So what that means in plain speak is how do we move the region forward? And we've got some, amazing spaces that are sitting vacant. So, for example, we've got Whitiraya on Kapiti Road, the old campus space that's been vacant for a long time. Why don't we get our big banks and the insurance companies and others to potentially set up a satellite remote office from there? Absolutely. That is definitely on the table. And it's that kind of fresh thinking we want people to start pursuing. And if you don't do it now, we'll never do it because it's been a little bit of an experiment, but it's worked. And I think it's proven to employers and businesses that people don't need to be in an office to be productive.
Yeah. Mate, thank you so much for your time today. Lastly, as always, where can people find you? How can they get in touch?
So, Kapiti Chamber, we are just about to announce some new membership structures for the next financial year, which begins in July. So you can go to kapitichamber.org.nz and take a look at our webinars that we've been running. They've been really, really successful, lots of different topics, but all kind of aimed at guiding everyone through the COVID response. And you can find out more about what we do at Thorn PR at thornpr.co.nz.
Awesome. Jacinda Thorn, thank you so much for your time today. Go well, my friend, and I look forward to our next catch-up.
Good. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.